Wednesday, everyone. It's a day after Christmas, and of course, we all know what comes next. Goodbye 2012 and hello 2013. And here on Kababayan LA, gaya po ng nakaugalian natin, we always review the year that was. So in the coming days, stay tuned for different year-ender specials here on Kababayan LA. We broke it down into different sections. We have an entertainment edition, which has all your Kababayans in Hollywood, also chismis from Philippine show business. We also have, of course, the hard news edition, which is all the top newsmakers from the Philippines and here as well, and top news stories from 2012. And every Wednesday for the last few Wednesdays here on the year 2012, we've been talking about immigration. Of course, immigration had a big year. This 2012, a lot of positive developments. That's what we're going to be talking about, along with what to look forward to or what 2013 holds for immigration. And of course, when we talk about immigration here on the show, we can't do it without our resident immigration lawyer. Still waiting for Attorney Allison Aquino. She'll be joining us in just a little while. But of course, Attorney Richard Lowe of Aquino and Lowe, hello and welcome to Kababayan LA.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Immigration had a big year, 2012. Let us talk about some of the positive developments. Did you expect that as a lawyer? Of course, it's election year.
Well, actually, I thought that this year would be an interesting year for law. I didn't think we'd get a lot of changes, but I was glad that we got into the discussion. I mean, I think immigration really came into the discussion, particularly after the elections, and that was important. But no, I didn't expect that we would have very many significant changes in the immigration field.
Okay, let's break down those significant changes. The first one on your list is?
DACA. I think DACA was the big push forward for the Obama administration, sort of giving deferred action for early childhood arrivals here, and that was important. It really made the administration look like they were trying to do something for a group of individuals that many people in this country feel sympathetic for, those who came to this country as youths, as children, and who have gone to school here, who have lived here, and who have, by no fault of their own, been thrust into this situation. So I think that was a very positive development for the administration.
And for those of us who missed that, for those of our viewers, what does it entail? What does DACA entail?
Well, basically, DACA said that if you came into the United States when you were under the age of 16 and you have been in the United States for 5 years and have graduated from high school, that you can apply for a work permit and basically get a kind of, they call it deferred action, which basically they won't remove you from the United States and you can work lawfully in the United States.
And as a law firm, have you been getting applications for that? Have you been applying for, on behalf of different people who are qualified for this?
Yes, of course. We've handled numerous cases, and we've got them approved, and the process has been very smooth so far. So there have been a few that have been delayed, but for the most part, everything has gone forward, and it's been great for those people who have been able to get their work permits and then eventually get their driver's license, get their Social Security card, and all of that makes them feel much calmer about being in the United States.
Yes, so that's number one, positive development in terms of immigration in 2012, DACA. Anything else? We have a lot, right?
Well, I think the other sort of overarching one has been this secure communities, and that is that California in particular has been, it started out with Chief Beck of Los Angeles Police Department stating that he was no longer going to give over every person who comes into contact with the LAPD over to immigration. These are called ICE detainers. And after Chief Beck came out and said that was a few months ago, Camilla Harris recently, as the State Attorney General, stated that local communities are not required to opt into the secure communities system. So that was a big push forward. And then Lee Baca flipped. He's the LA County Sheriff. He had been saying that he was going to participate in secure communities, and he recently flipped based on the Camilla Harris stance. And so now you have, I think, a much more realistic view of immigrants who are here coming into contact with law enforcement, that if you are somebody who has been driving without a license and get pulled over by the LAPD, you're not automatically going to be sent over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement and go in through a lengthy removal process that could be obviously detrimental to yourself and your family.
Because can you define to us the concept of secure communities?
Well, the idea of secure communities was that criminals who came into contact with local law enforcement officials would be committed over to held until ICE could get them, and then they would be removed from the country. That's the idea. And that this secure communities was supposed to be focusing on criminal aliens, that is, people that had committed crimes and fairly serious crimes. But what ended up happening is basically anybody who came into contact with local law enforcement officials was being turned over to ICE.
Right.
So it becomes a huge net that is dragging many people into this who maybe don't even suffer a conviction afterwards. They just get arrested and come into contact. They don't get pursued in the criminal courts,
right.
but now they're facing removal. So this has been a big back and forth. You have seen some states go with it wholeheartedly,
right.
and you had seen states like California now kind of backing off of that and saying, well, we don't have to, because the federal government has been putting pressure on states to say that you must be part of secure communities.
Okay.
And there's been a little bit pushback now. You can see California saying, well, the way the law is written, it doesn't mean we have to. Everybody is required to. You can if you'd like to, but you don't have to do it.
Okay, wonderful. It's good to know these things, especially when it comes to immigration. Each one of us here has an immigrant story. A lot of us are immigrants. A lot of us are still undocumented. And you may find yourself in these categories, in these situations. And it's good to know so that you may call on them to help you process an application or file an application. And so we have more to discuss when we return on the show. Kababayan LA Year-Ender Special Immigration Edition on Kababayan LA. Don't go away.